One moment, Captain Maya Chen was completing her routine inspection of the defense perimeter. The next, alarms screamed through every corridor of humanity's most advanced deep space outpost. The quantum barrier that had protected Earth's colonies for 30 years was failing. Status report now. Maya barked, struggling to keep her footing as the station trembled beneath her. Lieutenant Corey's fingers flew across the command console. Unknown rupture in Sector 7. The barrier it's just gone, Captain. On the massive view screen, a jagged tear appeared in the shimmering blue field that had kept humanity safe from the Vex, a merciless hive mind species that had nearly wiped out 3 galaxies before Earth's quantum scientists had developed the barrier technology. That's impossible, Maya whispered, but the evidence hung before them, a wound in reality itself through which stars burned with unusual brightness. Dispatch rapid response teams, all civilians to shelter zones. Alert Earth Command. Communications are down, Corey reported, his dark eyes wide with fear. Whatever caused the rupture is generating some kind of interference field. Maya felt ice in her veins. The barrier had never failed, not once in 3 decades. Generations had grown up never knowing the terror of the Vex War that had claimed her parents and billions of others. How long until full breach? She asked. Curry's voice caught. 17 minutes, Captain. Maybe less. The station shuddered again, more violently this time. Through the viewport, Maya watched as small fractures spread like spiderwebs across the barrier surface. Sound general evacuation. We need to get everyone off this station, she ordered, but even as the words left her mouth, she knew it was futile. Nexus housed 12,000 people. Their evacuation ships could carry maybe 3,000 with overcrowding. A soft ping from the science station drew her attention. Dr. Eliza Werner, the station's lead quantum physicist, was hunched over a display, her silver-streaked hair falling across her face. Captain, Werner said, her voice unnaturally calm. You need to see this. Maya crossed the command center, aware of every second ticking away. What am I looking at, Doctor? The rupture wasn't caused by barrier failure, Werner explained, pointing to energy readings. Something broke through, from inside. Maya felt her blood run cold. That's not possible. The evidence suggests otherwise, Werner replied. Her hands trembled slightly as she magnified the image. And there's something else. I'm detecting a biological signature. Human. The view screen flickered, then displayed a sector of space just beyond the rupture point. A small vessel drifted there, unlike any ship in Earth's fleet. Its hull gleamed with a strange, shifting pattern that seemed to absorb and reflect light simultaneously. Get me a scan of that ship, Maya ordered. One life sign, Captain, Corey reported. Human, but the readings are off the charts. Brain activity, cellular energy. I've never seen anything like it. The communications officer suddenly straightened in his chair. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the vessel. Put it through. The view screen changed, revealing the face of a young man, no more than 25, with intelligent eyes that seemed to glow with inner light. Despite the chaos unfolding around her, Maya was struck by the absolute serenity in his expression. Captain Chen, he said, his voice resonating with an odd harmonic quality. My name is Elias Quinn. I need to come aboard your station immediately. You've damaged our barrier, Maya replied, fighting to keep her voice steady. We're facing a catastrophic breach. Explain yourself. Elias Quinn smiled slightly. The barrier isn't damaged, Captain. I've simply reconfigured it. The Vex won't be coming through. How do you know about the Vex? Dr. Werner demanded, stepping forward. That information is classified. I know everything about them, Quinn replied. I know they aren't what you think they are. I know the barrier doesn't work the way you've been told. And I know that in approximately 16 minutes, your superiors will give the order to destroy this station, rather than risk what they think is coming. Maya's hand moved instinctively to her sidearm. Only the highest-level military personnel knew about Protocol Omega, the last resort destruction of Nexus to prevent Vex infiltration. "Who are you?" she demanded. "Someone who was born in a lab beneath this very station," Quinn answered. "Project Prometheus. Ring any bells, Dr. Werner?" The color drained from Werner's face. "That's not possible," she whispered. "All subjects were terminated when the project was shut down." "Not all," Quinn replied. "I escaped. I've spent 12 years learning, growing, and preparing, and now I've come home, because the real invasion is about to begin." The station shuddered again, more violently. "Let me aboard, Captain," Quinn said, his voice suddenly urgent, "or everyone on this station dies today." Maya looked at Werner, whose face had gone ashen. "Doctor." Werner swallowed hard. Project Prometheus was a classified experiment. Human embryos modified with Vex neural tissue. It was meant to help us understand how they think, communicate. It was shut down when the subjects began developing abilities. "What kind of abilities?" Maya asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "The kind that let me travel beyond the barrier," Quinn answered instead. "The kind that let me see what's actually out there. Your superiors have been lying to you, Captain. There never was a Vex war. At least, not the way you were told." The proximity alert blared again. "Captain," Corey called out, his voice trained. "Multiple ships approaching from Earth space. Military vessels, weapons hot." Maya made her decision. "Dock in Bay 12, she told Quinn. "But I'm warning you, if this is some kind of trick." "It's not a trick, Captain," Quinn interrupted. "It's a rescue mission. Your rescue. All of humanity's rescue." His image flickered. "And Captain, have a medical team ready. I didn't come alone." The transmission cut off. Maya turned to her security chief. "Assemble a team. Full tactical gear. Meet me at docking Bay 12. "Captain," Werner protested. "If he really is a Prometheus subject, then he's the only person who might know what's happening." Maya cut her off. "And right now, that's all we've got." As Maya strode toward the elevator, the station trembled once more. Through the viewport, she could see the strange vessel moving toward Nexus, trailing what looked like luminous threads of energy that seemed to be stitching the barrier back together. Whatever Elias Quinn was, whatever he had become, he had just shattered 30 years of peace and certainty. Maya could only hope he hadn't doomed them all in the process. Chapter 2. The Monster in Human Skin. The air in docking Bay 12 hummed with tension. Maya stood at the front of her security team, pulse rifle charged and ready. Medical personnel waited anxiously behind a protective barrier, their faces tight with concentration. "Life support readings are stable," Lieutenant Corey reported through Maya's earpiece. "The vessel has completed docking procedures." "Stand ready," Maya ordered her team. "Non-lethal measures only unless I give the order." The docking bay's massive doors slid open with a hydraulic hiss. Quinn's ship looked even stranger up close, its hull shifting with patterns that seemed to move with purpose, almost like a living thing. A seam appeared in the vessel's side, widening into a doorway. Light spilled out, momentarily blinding, then receded to reveal a tall figure silhouetted against the glow. Elias Quinn stepped onto the deck of Nexus Station. In person, he seemed both more and less than human, his movements too fluid, his eyes too knowing. He wore simple clothing, a gray tunic and pants that seemed to shimmer slightly, as though woven from something not quite material. "Captain Chen," he said, his voice carrying that same strange harmonic quality she'd heard over the transmission. "Thank you for your trust." "I don't trust you," Maya replied bluntly. "I'm just out of options." Quinn nodded, unperturbed. "Fair enough." He gestured behind him. "I need your medical team. I have 3 passengers requiring immediate attention." Maya nodded to the chief medical officer, Dr. Nasir, who approached cautiously with 2 assistants. "What kind of medical situation are we dealing with?" Nasir asked. "Suspended animation recovery," Quinn replied. "They'd been in stasis for nearly 3 decades. Maya stepped forward. Who are they? The original scientists from Project Prometheus, Quinn said. The ones who refused to terminate us when the order came. They've been on the run ever since, preserving the evidence of what really happened. They're dying now. Cellular degradation from improvised stasis technology. I've stabilized them as best I could. Nasir and his team moved past Quinn into the ship. Maya kept her weapon trained on the young man. You still haven't explained what's happening with the barrier, she said. I will, Quinn promised. But first, I need to show you something on your command deck. Something your sensors won't detect without recalibration. Maya's security chief, Commander Rico, stepped forward. That's not happening. Command deck is off limits. Quinn looked at him with something like pity. Commander, in approximately 12 minutes, warships from Earth will open fire on this station. They believe the barrier breach cannot be contained. They've already initiated Protocol Omega. How could you possibly know that? Rico demanded. The same way I know you have a daughter named Amara who just celebrated her 7th birthday, Quinn replied quietly. The same way I know Captain Chen still dreams about her parents' ship being destroyed in what you call the first Vex assault. Maya felt her chest tighten. Stop it. I'm sorry, Quinn said, and he seemed genuinely remorseful. But you need to understand what I am, what they made me to be. I was designed to interpret and predict Vex communication patterns. But the Vex don't communicate like we do. They share consciousness across space and time. When the scientists integrated their neural tissue with human DNA, they created something they couldn't control. Humans who could perceive beyond normal limits. From inside the ship came Dr. Nasir's urgent voice. We need to get these people to medical immediately. 4 medical assistants emerged carrying 3 stasis pods. Maya caught glimpses of elderly faces behind frosted transparent covers. Let me save them, Quinn said. And then let me save everyone else on this station. Maya made her decision. Commander Rico, escort the medical team. Dr. Werner, you're with me, and Mr. Quinn. We're going to command. Captain. Rico began to protest. That's an order, Commander. Maya cut him off. She turned to Quinn. One wrong move, and my security team will neutralize you. Clear. Quinn nodded. Crystal. As they moved through the corridors toward the command center, Maya noticed the station's trembling had stopped. The emergency lighting had dimmed, returning to normal operations. What did you do to the barrier? She asked Quinn. I didn't break it, he replied. I created a controlled aperture, like opening a door rather than smashing through a wall. The barrier remains intact. That technology doesn't exist, Dr. Werner said. Quinn glanced at her. It does in here, he replied, tapping his temple. The Vex understand reality differently than we do. They don't see barriers, they see patterns. Change the pattern, change what's possible. They reached the command center. The view screen showed Quinn's vessel still docked, but the barrier beyond appeared whole again. No sign of the rupture that had thrown the station into chaos. Lieutenant Curry, Maya called. Status report. The breach appears to have healed itself, Curry reported, bewildered. But we're detecting multiple Earth vessels approaching rapidly. They're not responding to hails. Because they've been ordered not to, Quinn said. He approached the main sensor console. May I? Maya nodded reluctantly. Quinn's fingers moved across the controls with impossible speed. The view screen display changed, shifting to a spectrum Maya had never seen before. What are we looking at? She demanded. Reality as the Vex perceive it, Quinn replied. Watch. The image zoomed out, showing not just Nexus Station and the approaching Earth ships, but a vast swath of space beyond the barrier. There, barely visible at first, but growing more distinct as Quinn adjusted the settings, were thousands, perhaps millions, of shapes that defied description. They weren't ships exactly, more like intersections of energy and matter that shifted in and out of what Maya recognized as normal space. The Vex, Quinn said, but not as you've been taught to see them. They're everywhere, Werner whispered. They've always been everywhere, Quinn corrected. They exist partially outside our dimensional reality. The barrier doesn't keep them out. Nothing could. It simply prevents them from fully manifesting in our spacetime. Then what was the war? Maya asked, her voice hollow. What killed my parents? Billions of people. Quinn's expression softened, a misunderstanding of cosmic proportions. The Vex weren't attacking us. We're trying to communicate. Their consciousness expansion into our reality appeared as aggression to us. Our response appeared as aggression to them. That's insane, Maya said. I saw the footage. I saw their ships destroying our colonies. You saw our perception of a dimensional incursion, Quinn countered. When a four-dimensional entity intersects with three-dimensional space, the results are catastrophic, but not intentional. A new alarm sounded. Corey's voice was tight with tension. Earth vessels will be in weapons range in 5 minutes. They're going to destroy the station, Quinn said urgently. They believe the breach is irreparable. They think the Vex are coming through. Can you communicate with Earth Command? Maya asked. Make them understand. Quinn shook his head. They wouldn't believe me. But I can show you something that might convince them. He turned to Dr. Werner. Project Prometheus wasn't just about understanding the Vex. It was about creating weapons against them. Human Vex hybrids who could fight on their dimensional level. Werner paled. How do you know that? Those files were destroyed. Not destroyed, Quinn corrected. Hidden. The scientists who helped me escape took them. He turned back to the console. But we discovered something the project leaders never anticipated. We learned to communicate with the Vex. And we learned the truth. The view screen shifted again, showing what appeared to be a recording. Maya recognized the Nexus station, but newer, still under construction. A group of scientists huddled around equipment in what looked like a makeshift laboratory. A small child, no more than 5 or 6, sat in the center of the room, connected to machines by dozens of electrodes. Is that you? Maya asked quietly. Quinn nodded. Watch. In the recording, the child suddenly stiffened, then began to speak in a voice that echoed strangely, words overlapping in patterns that made no sense. The scientists rushed to their equipment, excitement clear on their faces. First contact, Quinn explained. I served as a conduit for Vex communication. They were trying to warn us. Warn us about what? Werner asked. Quinn's expression darkened. About the real enemy. The reason the barrier was actually built. He manipulated the controls again, changing the sensor display. Beyond the approaching Earth warships, deep in what should have been protected space, something massive moved against the backdrop of stars. What am I looking at? Maya demanded. The harvesters, Quinn said. They follow the Vex across the universe, consuming worlds where Vex consciousness has taken root. Earth didn't build the barrier to keep the Vex out. They built it to keep the harvesters out, and to keep us in. The realization hit Maya like a physical blow. We're bait, she whispered. Quinn nodded grimly. The perfect trap. An entire species trapped behind a barrier with the Vex influence growing stronger every year. The perfect lure for the harvesters. That's genocide, Werner breathed. It's survival, Quinn corrected. From their perspective, the architects of this plan believe sacrificing Earth and its colonies will buy them time to escape to another galaxy. Curry's voice cut through the moment. Captain, Earth vessels are charging weapons. Maya turned to Quinn. How do we stop this? We don't stop it, Quinn replied. We change it. He turned to the console again. The Vex have been trying to help us. They recognized what was happening. That's why they attempted contact in the first place. If that's true, why didn't they just tell us about the harvesters? Maya demanded. They did, Quinn said. But imagine trying to explain color to a species born without eyes. Some concepts don't translate. He looked at Maya intently. I'm not just a human with Vex neural tissue, Captain. I'm something new, a bridge between species. I can communicate with them in a way no one else can. So communicate, Maya said. Tell them to help us now. They already are, Quinn replied. But I need your help too. He gestured to the console. Let me send a message to the approaching vessels. Let me try to make them understand. Maya hesitated only briefly. Do it. Quinn placed his hands on the communications array. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, gradually, his skin began to glow with the same shifting patterns as his ship's hull. His eyes closed in concentration. On the view screen, the Earth vessels suddenly halted their approach. What did you do? Maya asked. I showed them what I showed you, Quinn said, his voice strained. The harvesters. The truth about the barrier. He opened his eyes, which now glowed with an inner light, and I showed them what the Vex are offering us. Which is what? A way out, Quinn said. A path of evolution beyond the harvester's reach. The Vex exist across multiple dimensions. The harvesters can only pursue them through three-dimensional space. If humanity can follow the Vex's evolutionary path. Werner stepped forward. You're talking about transforming our entire species. I'm talking about saving it, Quinn corrected. The way the original Prometheus scientists saved me. A new alert sounded. Curry's voice was confused. Captain, the Earth vessels are. They're standing down. We're receiving a transmission from Admiral Chen. Maya started. My uncle. Put him through, she ordered. The view screen shifted to show the stern face of Admiral James Chen. His expression was a mixture of shock and resignation. Maya, he said, is what we just received true? Is the Elias Quinn subject there with you? He is, Maya confirmed. Admiral, he's shown us. I know what he's shown you, the Admiral interrupted. The harvester. The true purpose of the barrier. He closed his eyes briefly. It was supposed to be a temporary measure, just until we could develop the technology to relocate to the Andromeda galaxy. You were going to abandon Earth. Maya felt sick. We were going to save what we could of humanity, the Admiral corrected harshly. The harvesters cannot be fought, Maya. They've consumed entire galaxies. When we discovered them pursuing the Vex toward our space 3 decades ago, we had no choice. There's always a choice, Quinn said, stepping into view of the transmission. And the Vex are offering a better one. Admiral Chen, I understand why you and the other leaders did what you did, but the Prometheus subjects, we can help forge a different path. The Admiral's expression hardened. You were never meant to exist, Quinn. The Prometheus project was a mistake. We thought we could weaponize Vex neural patterns. Instead, we created aberrations. You created the bridge humanity needs, Quinn countered. I'm not asking you to trust me, Admiral. I'm asking you to look at the evidence. The harvesters will reach the barrier within days. When they do, they'll break through and consume everything. The evacuation ships you've been building in secret won't escape their notice. Maya turned to Quinn in shock. Evacuation ships. For high-ranking officials and their families, Quinn explained without taking his eyes off the Admiral. A contingency plan 3 decades in the making. The Admiral's face twisted with anger. You have no right. To what? To save billions of lives instead of just thousands. Quinn interrupted. I've communicated with the Vex, Admiral. They're willing to guide us toward their state of existence, a state the harvesters cannot touch. And what would we become? The Admiral demanded. Not human anymore. Evolution has never asked permission, Quinn replied quietly. But extension or extinction are the only choices now. Maya stepped forward. Admiral, I've seen the evidence. Quinn's ship. It's unlike anything we've developed. He opened the barrier without damaging it. If what he's saying is true. It is, Quinn insisted, and I can prove it. He turned to Dr. Werner. The original Prometheus subjects, the ones who survived, we stayed connected. even across light years. We've been working together, preparing for this moment. As if on cue, the view screen split to show multiple images, different stations and outposts throughout human space. At each location, a young person with the same glowing eyes as Quinn stood surrounded by astonished military personnel. We synchronized our return, Quinn explained, each of us bringing the same message, the same evidence, the same offer from the Vex. The Admiral's face had gone ashen. What have you done? We've initiated first contact, Quinn replied. Real first contact, not the misunderstood dimensional incursions you call the Vex War. Right now, the Vex are extending protection throughout human space. They're showing themselves to everyone, Admiral. The truth is coming out. Maya watched as the images on screen showed civilians and military personnel alike, staring in wonder at phenomena only they could see. Even on Nexus Station, she realized the barriers between dimensions were thinning. In the corners of her vision, she could perceive shifting patterns of light that hadn't been there before. You'll destroy us all, the Admiral whispered. No, Quinn said firmly. We'll save us all. He turned to Maya. But we need your help, Captain. The people trust you. They need to understand that this isn't an invasion. It's an invitation. Maya looked from Quinn to her uncle on the screen, the Admiral who had raised her after her parents died. The man who, she now realized, had been lying to her, to everyone, for years. What exactly are the Vex offering? She asked Quinn. A merger of consciousness, Quinn replied. Not a takeover, a symbiosis. Humanity retains its identity but gains the ability to exist as the Vex do, across multiple dimensions, beyond the Harvester's reach. And the alternative? Maya pressed. Quinn's expression darkened. The Harvesters breach the barrier. Earth dies. The colonies die. The evacuation ships are hunted down one by one. Humanity ends. Maya took a deep breath. She looked at her uncle's face, saw the defeat already settling in his eyes. She looked at Dr. Werner, whose scientific curiosity was plainly battling with fear of the unknown. How do we begin? She asked Quinn. His smile was both human and something more. We already have. Chapter 3. Evolution's Edge. Nexus Station pulsed with a light that shouldn't exist in normal space. 3 days had passed since Quinn's arrival, and nothing was the same. The barrier that had enclosed human space for 30 years now shimmered with new purpose. Not a wall, but a filter, allowing the Vex presence to strengthen, while still keeping the approaching Harvesters at bay. Maya stood in what had once been the station's main observation deck. Now it served as Quinn's base of operations. The other surviving Prometheus subjects, 17 in total, had converged here, their ships docked in a perfect circle around the station. The transformation has begun in the outer colonies, Quinn reported, looking up from a display that showed data in patterns Maya was only beginning to comprehend. Resistance is minimal now that people understand what's coming. And what exactly is coming? Maya asked. Despite everything she'd seen, everything she now believed, doubt still gnawed at her. What will we become, Quinn? Quinn's expression softened. He gestured to the viewport, where the barrier's new configuration created veils of light that shifted and danced across the stars. Look there, he said. What do you see? Light patterns, Maya replied. Energy fluctuations in the barrier. Look deeper, Quinn urged. The way I showed you. Maya tried the mental exercise Quinn had been teaching her, relaxing her perception, allowing her consciousness to expand beyond traditional sensory inputs. Gradually, the patterns resolved into something more. Vast networks of intelligence, communicating across dimensions she could barely perceive. The Vex, she whispered. Yes, Quinn confirmed, but not as separate entities. They exist as a connected consciousness, individual minds linked across space and time. And that's what we'll become. Something similar, Quinn nodded, but uniquely human. The Vex don't want to erase humanity. They want to preserve it. They've seen too many species fall to the harvesters. They believe our particular consciousness has value. From behind them, Dr. Werner's voice interrupted. The first large-scale integration is complete on Epsilon Colony. Maya turned to see the scientist approaching, accompanied by Admiral Chen. The Admiral had aged years in mere days, the weight of 3 decades of secrets finally breaking him. "Any complications?" Quinn asked. Werner shook her head, a look of wonder on her face. "None. The consciousness merger proceeded exactly as you predicted. 15,000 colonists, all reporting successful integration. They're already beginning to perceive across dimensional boundaries. And they're still themselves," Maya asked. "Remarkably so," Werner confirmed. "Enhanced perception, enhanced cognition, but their core personalities remain intact. Many report feeling more themselves than ever before." Admiral Chen's voice was hollow. "And the harvesters?" Quinn's expression darkened. "Less than 2 days from the barrier's edge. Their approach is accelerating. They sense the Vex presence strengthening." "Will the barrier hold?" Maya asked. "Long enough," Quinn replied. "If we continue the integration at the current pace." Maya had seen the plans. Earth's population would be the last to undergo the transformation. Its billions of minds requiring careful preparation. The colonies, smaller and more adaptable, were going first. "We're ready to begin Nexus Station integration," Werner announced. "All personnel have been briefed. 97% have consented. And the others?" Maya asked. "Will be evacuated to Earth," Quinn assured her. "No one will be forced, Captain. This must be a choice." Maya nodded, relieved. Despite everything, the thought of forcing such a profound change on unwilling minds disturbed her deeply. "I'll be with the first group," she decided. Quinn looked surprised. "Are you sure?" "As station commander, you could wait. I need to understand what we're asking people to become." Maya cut him off. "I need to experience it myself before I can lead others through it." Quinn nodded slowly. "I understand." He gestured to a chamber that had been constructed in the center of the observation deck, a translucent cylinder filled with swirling energy patterns. "The integration chamber is ready. Dr. Werner will monitor the process." Maya took a deep breath. "How long will it take?" "For the initial phase, about 3 hours," Quinn explained. "Your consciousness will begin to expand. You'll start perceiving across dimensional boundaries. The full integration takes about 3 days, as your mind learns to process the new information streams." Maya looked at Admiral Chen. "Will you be joining us, Admiral?" The old man shook his head slowly. "I've lived too long with lies, Maya. I don't deserve transcendence." "This isn't about deserving," Quinn said gently. "It's about surviving. About preserving what makes us human while becoming something more." "I'll return to Earth," the Admiral said firmly. "Help prepare the population there. Someone needs to explain, to take responsibility." Maya understood. Her uncle needed atonement more than evolution. She turned to Quinn. "I'm ready." Quinn led her to the integration chamber. As Maya stepped inside, she felt a subtle vibration, as though reality itself was humming around her. "What should I expect?" she asked, her voice steadier than she felt. "First, expanded perception," Quinn explained. "You'll begin to see the Vex as they truly are. Then, connection. You'll feel their consciousness touching yours. Don't resist it. It's not an invasion. It's more like learning a new language through immersion." Maya nodded. "And then?" Quinn smiled, that strange, luminous smile that was both human and something more. "Then you'll understand what we're becoming. What we were always meant to become." The chamber sealed around her. Energy patterns swirled, gradually synchronizing with her heartbeat, her breathing. Maya closed her eyes as the first wave of sensation washed over her. It began as color, color she had no names for, existing in spectra she had never perceived. Then came sounds, not sounds exactly, but patterns of information that her brain translated as harmonic sequences. Reality seemed to unfold around her, revealing dimensions that had always been there but remained hidden from human perception. And then, the presence. Not one consciousness, but many, billions, perhaps trillions, existing across a vast network that spanned not just space but time itself. The Vex Collective appeared to her not as the monstrous invaders of Earth propaganda, but as an ancient intelligence, curious and surprisingly gentle. Asterisk, we see you, Maya, Chen asterisk. The words weren't spoken. They simply existed in her mind, as though they had always been there. Asterisk, we have waited long for this connection. Your kind perceives so differently, so uniquely. We wish to preserve this uniqueness asterisk. Maya found she could respond with thought alone. Asterisk, why us? Why humanity asterisk? Asterisk, you create in ways we cannot. You feel in ways we have forgotten. You dream. We remember when we dreamed, before the harvesters came. Before we had to scatter our consciousness across dimensions to survive asterisk. Images flooded Maya's mind. The Vex as they once were, billions of years ago. A species not unlike humans in their capacity for art, emotion, innovation. The arrival of the harvesters, entities that consumed consciousness itself, reducing worlds to empty husks. The desperate evolution of the Vex, spreading their collective mind across dimensional boundaries where the harvesters couldn't follow. Asterisk, you wish to preserve us, asterisk, Maya realized. Asterisk, to keep what makes us human alive, asterisk. Asterisk, yes, the harvesters take more than life. They take possibility. Each species they consume represents unique pathways of thought, unique ways of experiencing existence. When they consume a species, those pathways are lost forever asterisk. Maya understood suddenly, with perfect clarity. Asterisk, you're not just saving us. You're saving a way of being asterisk. Asterisk, yes. And in return, you will help us remember what we once were. What we might become again asterisk. The exchange continued, concepts transferring between Maya's consciousness and the Vex Collective. Time lost meaning. She began to perceive threads of connection spreading throughout human space, other minds joining the network, each bringing their unique perspective. When Maya finally opened her eyes, the integration chamber was open. Quinn stood waiting, his expression one of understanding. How long? Maya asked. Her voice sounded strange to her ears, too limited for the concepts now filling her mind. 37 hours, Quinn replied. You adapted more quickly than expected. Maya stepped out of the chamber. The world looked different now. Layers of reality visible where before she had seen only the surface. She could perceive the thoughts of everyone on the station, not as an invasion of privacy, but as a gentle background hum, like voices in another room. The harvesters, she said suddenly, perceiving them through the expanded awareness the Vex had given her. They're almost here. Quinn nodded grimly. The barrier won't hold much longer. We need to accelerate the integration process. He gestured to the view screen, which now showed Earth. Beautiful, vulnerable, still unaware of what approached. How many have undergone the transformation? Maya asked. Almost all colonial populations, Quinn replied. Approximately 2 billion people. Earth remains the challenge. 7 billion minds that need to be prepared quickly. And if we fail? Quinn's expression darkened. Then humanity joins the countless species the harvesters have consumed. Our consciousness, our way of perceiving reality, everything that makes us unique, will be gone forever. Maya closed her eyes, extending her new senses outward. She could feel the approaching harvesters now, vast voids in the fabric of consciousness, empty hungers that consumed everything in their path. Against them stood the Vex network, now strengthened by the addition of human minds. I need to address the station, she said. And then Earth. They need to understand what's coming. And what we're becoming. Quinn nodded. The integration has given you the ability to communicate directly, mind to mind. Use it. Maya concentrated, focusing her thoughts. Immediately, she felt the connection to every mind on Nexus Station, those who had undergone integration and those who hadn't yet. She projected not just words but understanding. Images of the harvesters, the Vex's offer, the future that awaited them all. Responses flooded back. Fear, wonder, acceptance, resolve. The station's remaining holdouts, seeing through Maya's shared perception the truth of what approached, made their decisions. Integration chambers throughout Nexus filled as the last resistance crumbled. Earth next, Maya said, opening her eyes. The new awareness made the command center appear transformed. Layers of data and energy she'd never perceived before now visible all around her. We have hours, not days. Quinn nodded, his expression grave. The planetary integration will be more complex. Billions of minds, most unprepared for what's coming. Maya turned to Admiral Chen. You need to authorize a global emergency broadcast. Every channel, every device. The old man straightened, something of his former authority returning. I'll contact the World Council immediately. But Maya, they'll resist. The truth has been hidden for too long. Then we show them, Maya replied. She turned to the communications array, her mind already connecting with the station's systems in ways that would have been impossible before integration. Patch me through to Earth Command. Full spectrum transmission. Within moments, the faces of the World Council, 12 grim-faced leaders representing Earth's unified government, appeared on the view screen. Admiral Chen. The Council President began. Our sensors show anomalous activity throughout colonial space. Explain. She stopped abruptly, noticing Quinn and Maya. Who are these people? And why are their eyes glowing? Madam President, Maya said, stepping forward. I'm Captain Maya Chen of Nexus Station. This is Elias Quinn. What I'm about to tell you will sound impossible, but Earth has hours before an extinction-level event. Without waiting for a response, Maya projected her awareness, sending the full truth directly into the minds of the council members. Their expressions shifted from skepticism to shock to horror as they perceived the approaching harvesters. This can't be real, the president whispered. It is, Admiral Chen confirmed. Everything we believed about the Vex War was a lie. A lie I helped maintain for 30 years. Quinn stepped forward. The barrier is failing. The harvesters will breach it within hours. We offer a solution. Integration with the Vex consciousness network. Not possession, not control. Evolution. The only path to survival. You're asking us to transform our entire species, one council member demanded. Based on the word of, what are you exactly? He's what humanity must become to survive. Maya answered. I've undergone the integration myself. I'm still me, still human, but more. Show them. Quinn. Quinn closed his eyes briefly. Across Earth, displays and devices of all kinds suddenly activated, broadcasting images of the approaching harvesters as seen through Vex perception. Billions of humans stared in disbelief at the vast, consuming void that approached their world. Mass panic will ensue, the president protested. Then give them hope along with truth, Maya countered. She focused again, projecting through the same channels visions of the integrated colonies, humans evolving, consciousness expanding, fear giving way to wonder. Admiral Chen stepped forward. Madam President, members of the Council, I bear responsibility for the deception that brought us here. For 30 years, we believed we were buying time for an evacuation that would save a fraction of our species. Now they have a chance to save everyone. I implore you, authorize global integration immediately. Minutes stretched into tense silence as the council members conferred privately. Finally, the president looked up, her face resolute. Begin the process, she ordered. All planetary defenses on high alert. If this is deception, it's salvation, Quinn replied simply. Nothing less. Chapter 4. The tide turns. The sky above Earth rippled with impossible colors as integration centers, were established in every major city. Vex ships, or what human perception translated as ships, materialized in Earth orbit, each carrying integration technology far more advanced than the makeshift chambers on Nexus Station. From the command center, Maya watched the process unfold across the planet. Her expanded consciousness allowed her to perceive billions of minds beginning the transformation, fear giving way to understanding as human awareness expanded into new dimensions. The harvesters have breached the outer barrier, Quinn reported, his attention focused on sensory inputs no unmodified human could perceive. They'll reach Earth orbit in less than 3 hours. Dr. Werner looked up from her console, where she monitored the global integration progress. We've reached 40% of Earth's population. The process is accelerating as more integrated minds assist others, but we're still going to be cutting it close. Maya extended her awareness outward, sensing the approaching void of the harvesters. They were unlike anything she had imagined, not vessels or beings in any conventional sense, but ruptures in reality itself, consuming consciousness and possibility wherever they touched. Can we evacuate the remaining unintegrated population? She asked, already knowing the answer. Quinn shook his head. There's nowhere to go that the harvesters won't follow. Our only hope is to complete the integration, to move enough of humanity beyond their reach. What about conventional defenses? Admiral Chen asked. Every weapon Earth has developed would be like throwing stones at a tsunami. Quinn interrupted gently. The harvesters exist partially outside conventional physics. Weapons that interact with normal matter pass through them with minimal effect. Lieutenant Corey, who had undergone integration just hours before, suddenly straightened at his monitoring station. Captain, I'm detecting unusual activity in the Atlantic integration zone. Maya focused her awareness toward Earth's Atlantic region. Immediately, she sensed the disruption, a pocket of resistance, minds refusing integration, led by. She recognized the consciousness pattern instantly. General Williams, she said grimly. He's rallied the Atlantic Defense Force against the integration centers. Admiral Chen closed his eyes briefly in frustration. Williams never believed the Vex were anything but invaders. He'll see this as confirmation of his worst fears. He's mobilized military units against 7 major integration centers, Corey reported. Millions of civilians are in danger. I need to speak with him, Admiral Chen decided. He might listen to me. There's no time, Quinn countered. The harvesters will be here before you could reach Earth. He turned to Maya. But there is another way. The integrated minds can share direct understanding. Show Williams and his forces what's really happening. Maya nodded, understanding immediately. A mass consciousness link. But it would take thousands of fully integrated minds focusing together. We have thousands, Quinn replied. The Prometheus subjects scattered throughout colonial space, all fully integrated, all connected to the Vex network. Maya felt the plan forming between them, not through words but through shared consciousness. You want to create a perception bridge. Show Williams and his people the truth directly. Yes, Quinn confirmed, but it will require immense focus. If we divert that much attention from the integration efforts, the global process will slow, Werner finished, grasping the implications. We might not reach everyone before the harvesters arrive. Maya made her decision. We can't let Williams destroy those integration centers. Millions will be lost. She turned to Quinn. Let's do it. Around the station, the 17 Prometheus subjects gathered in a circle, their minds already synchronizing. Maya joined them, feeling her consciousness merge with theirs, while still maintaining her individual identity. Quinn stood at the center, a conduit for their combined focus. Together, they reached across space toward Earth, toward the Atlantic region where General Williams and his forces prepared to attack the integration centers. Maya felt the resistance in the general's mind. Decades of conditioning, of believing the Vex were humanity's greatest enemy. Asterisk, see the truth asterisk, she projected alongside the others. Asterisk, see what approaches. See what we must become asterisk. Through their combined perception, They showed Williams and his forces, the Harvesters, not as abstract threats, but as immediate, existential danger. They showed the Vex as they truly were, ancient allies offering evolution instead of extinction. They showed humanity's future, either transformed and surviving or consumed and forgotten. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, resistance continued. Then, gradually, understanding dawned. Throughout the Atlantic region, weapons were lowered. Soldiers stood down. General Williams himself, his rigid worldview finally crumbling, gave the order to protect the integration centers instead of destroying them. Maya returned her focus to the command center, exhausted but relieved. They understand now. The Atlantic centers are safe. But we've lost precious time, Werner reported, her expression grim. The Harvesters have accelerated their approach. First contact with Earth's atmosphere in 47 minutes. Quinn's face was taut with concentration. Current integration projections, 83% by the time they arrive. Werner replied. Maybe 85 if we redirect all resources. That means over 1 billion people. Admiral Chen couldn't finish the sentence. We don't leave them behind, Maya said firmly. There must be another way. She turned to Quinn. The Vex existence spans dimensions. Can't we use that somehow? Create a pocket dimension, a temporary shelter until integration can be completed. Quinn's eyes widened. That's not impossible. The Vex have created dimensional folds before, spaces that exist parallel to normal reality. He closed his eyes, communing with the Vex network. They're willing, but it would require enormous energy. Energy we're currently using for the integration process. So we have to choose, Maya said slowly. Slow integration to save the unintegrated, risking everyone, or sacrifice those we can't reach in time to ensure the rest survive. The weight of the decision hung heavy in the air. Maya looked at the view screen showing Earth, beautiful, vulnerable, its population caught between evolution and extinction. There's a third option, Quinn said suddenly, but it would require a sacrifice. All eyes turned to him. The Prometheus subjects, all of us, we exist at the intersection of human and Vex consciousness. Our minds form natural bridges between dimensions. His voice grew quieter. If we combined our consciousness entirely, we could create a dimensional fold large enough to protect Earth while the integration continues. You'd be sacrificing your individual identities, Werner realized. You'd become, what? Something new, Quinn replied. Neither human nor Vex. The bridge entity. He looked at Maya. We always knew this might be necessary. It's why we were created, though our creators never understood the full implications. There has to be another way, Maya protested. Quinn shook his head. There isn't enough time. This was always my purpose, our purpose. The other Prometheus subjects are already in agreement. Around the station, Maya could sense the minds of the other subjects, all 17 of them reaching the same conclusion simultaneously. They had been born as experiments, grown as outcasts, and now would end as saviors. How long would the dimensional fold last? Admiral Chen asked. Long enough to complete the integration, Quinn replied. Hours, perhaps days. After that, I don't know. Maya felt tears forming. In the short time she had known Quinn, she had come to see him not as the monster military propaganda had painted the Prometheus subjects to be, but as something miraculous. A bridge between species, between ways of understanding reality. Will you cease to exist? She asked. Quinn smiled that strange, luminous, still present beyond the fold, Werner replied. But they can no longer perceive us as they once did. To them, Earth and its colonies now appear as empty space. Consciousness evolved beyond their dimensional reach. Maya focused her attention on the dissolving energy column that had once been Quinn and the other Prometheus subjects. As the dimensional fold faded, the column seemed to be changing. Not disappearing but transforming, patterns shifting into new configurations. Something's happening, she said. All around the station, Integrated humans paused as they sensed the change. The column of energy brightened, then expanded outward in a silent wave that passed through solid matter as though it weren't there. As it touched each integrated mind, Maya felt a new awareness blooming, a deeper connection, a more profound understanding. Asterisk, we are become the bridge asterisk. The thought wasn't spoken or transmitted. It simply existed suddenly in the awareness of every transformed human throughout Earth and its colonies. With it came understanding. The Prometheus subjects hadn't been destroyed or lost. They had evolved again, becoming a new form of consciousness that existed between dimensions, a living bridge connecting humanity to the Vex network and beyond. Quinn, Maya whispered. Asterisk, yes and no. I am what Quinn became. We are what the Prometheus subjects transcended into. Neither human nor Vex, but something new. Something that can guide you all through the transition ahead. Asterisk. The energy column gradually resolved into a form that human perception could process, a shifting, luminous entity that somehow conveyed the essence of all 18 Prometheus subjects while being something entirely different. The harvesters are retreating, Werner announced suddenly, monitoring the space beyond Earth. They can't perceive us, can't consume what we've become. Asterisk. They will seek other hunting grounds. Asterisk, the entity that had been Quinn communicated. Asterisk, other species that have not yet evolved beyond their reach. Asterisk. Maya understood instantly. We need to help those species. Warn them. Show them the path we've taken. Asterisk, yes. This is humanity's new purpose. This is why the Vex sought your evolution. Not just to save you, but because of what you might become afterward. Guardians of consciousness itself. Asterisk. Around the station, throughout Earth and its colonies, Maya could sense the dawning realization spreading through billions of connected minds. Humanity had faced extinction, and instead found transcendence. The barrier that had enclosed them for 30 years had been not just a prison but a crucible, forcing an evolution that might otherwise have taken millennia. What do we call you now? Maya asked the luminous entity. A ripple of what felt like amusement passed through the collective consciousness. Asterisk, names are for distinct entities. We exist at the intersection of all possibilities. But if you require a designation, we are the nexus, the connection point between what was and what might be. Asterisk. Admiral Chen stepped forward. You were right, you know, when you said this was about evolution rather than extinction. He gestured to the view screen showing Earth, still recognizably their homeworld, but now shimmering with layers of perception and possibility that hadn't existed days earlier. We're still human, still ourselves, just more. Asterisk. This was always the intention. Asterisk, the Nexus communicated. Asterisk, the Vex remembered when they were as you were, individual, creative, passionate. They evolved out of necessity, sacrificing much of what made them unique. In you, they saw a chance to preserve what they had lost while guiding you beyond the harvester's reach. Asterisk. Maya turned to the view screen, extending her awareness outward, far beyond Earth, beyond the solar system, into the deep reaches of space, where other intelligent species existed, unaware of the cosmic predators that hunted consciousness itself. How do we begin? She asked. How do we warn them? Asterisk, the same way the Vex warned you, through bridges of consciousness. Some of you must become as we are, messengers between dimensions, between species. Asterisk. The implication was clear. Some humans would need to evolve further still, to sacrifice individual existence as Quinn had done, becoming bridges between humanity and other species throughout the galaxy. I'll go, Maya said without hesitation. I'll become a messenger. Admiral Chen turned to her in shock. Maya, you don't have to. I want to, she interrupted. Quinn showed us the way forward. Now it's our turn to do the same for others. She smiled. Besides, it's not an ending. It's a transformation. Asterisk, the process will take time. Asterisk, the Nexus communicated. Asterisk, preparation. Understanding. But yes, Some must become as we are to carry the message forward. Asterisk. Throughout human space, volunteers came forward, minds resonating with purpose and resolve. Not an ending, but a beginning. Not a defeat, but a victory of consciousness over oblivion. Maya stood at the edge of the observation deck, gazing out at the stars that now appeared so different to her expanded perception. She could see the layered dimensions where the Vex existed, could perceive the void-like hunger of distant harvesters, could sense the bright sparks of other intelligent life throughout the galaxy, unaware, vulnerable, precious in their uniqueness. The barrier that had enclosed human space was gone now, unnecessary in a reality where humanity existed partially beyond physical dimensions. Earth's ships, reconfigured with the knowledge gained through integration, were already preparing for journeys to distant stars, carrying not conquerors but messengers. We were so afraid of becoming monsters, Maya said softly, of losing our humanity to the Vex. Instead, we found what humanity could truly become. The nexus that had been quadrupled with what felt like pride. Asterisk, this was always the potential within you. The Vex saw it even when you could not. The capacity to evolve without losing the essence of what you are. Asterisk. Maya placed her hand against the viewport, feeling not the cold barrier of glass and metal, but the infinite possibilities that lay beyond. Humanity had feared the outside for so long, had hidden behind barriers, believing salvation lay in isolation and secrecy. Now they understood the truth. Survival lay not in walls, but in bridges. Not in fear, but in transformation. Not in ending, but in becoming. The galactic peace had indeed been shattered, but from its fragments, a brilliant new consciousness had been born. Not a monster, as they had feared, but a guardian of all that made life throughout the universe worth preserving. Maya smiled as the stars beckoned. "Let's begin," she said. "The end,